Hello there and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm LiQWYD, and if you're new here, I really hope I've earned you a subscription today. I am going to look into these two boxes. I got them as a Christmas present here a month ago, and I waited with the unboxing until today so we could do it together and see what we can actually do with this stuff. The plan is, with this core set, there's a bunch of tools and materials we can build stuff with. I think I will build something with only using the tools provided with this. And the rule is I will only add 3 more tools of my own. And it's going to be simple tools like a pencil, maybe my X-Acto knife, and one more thing. Let's start with the unboxing. Okay, let's see what's in this box. A manual with some inspiration, tool tips, ruler, that's gonna be useful, some sand, and of course some paints. What do we have here? Oh, and glue. Yeah, that's pretty important. What do we have here? Grotto slime. I wonder if that's the same as my disgusting slime I have here. We'll come up to that. Then we have a black, I think that's the standard. Cavern effects, a beige, and cavern highlights. It seems like this is a bit darker. Okay. I'm looking forward to this. Dungeon effects. It looks white to me. And dungeon highlights. Oh, that's cavern highlights. Okay. And a wash. And a wire cutting tool. Just need some batteries. Whoa, this is heavy. What is this? The base paint, but 300 milliliters. Okay, I hope there's some gas in this so it can come out, because this is pretty heavy. Some tufts, and dungeon base, and cavern base. Okay, cool. I think I'm gonna build a cavern because I have my dungeon tiles for the dungeon part, but I still maybe make a mix with a cave where there's a ruin inside the cave of an old temple or something. That could be pretty cool. I think I'm gonna do that. That was the inspiration and the idea for this project. A large brush, good for dry brushing, smaller one. A knife. And I actually knew this was going to be in here, and I know that this knife will be dull pretty fast, so that was why one of my tools will be this X-Acto knife. But it's okay, and it's very good for a start when you get started with this. And then we have a tray. Oh, another. Oh, that's for the details. I think this is a wash brush. I think it's the same as my Army Painter monster brush. They look pretty much the same. But this will also become in handy. And a train palette. Oh, what do we have here? Oh, that's wires for the wire cutter, of course. And how to change batteries. And oh, sandpaper. And then to the foam. We have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces of, I think this is going to be my building material. This is what we're gonna cut up. And then we have 2 more pieces. I think I'm going to use these as my base plate. and make a dungeon system filling these 2 tiles. I will wait with opening up this box because I know this is just foam of the big sizes, and this is just a supplement for if I'm running out of the other stuff. Here is all the stuff provided in the box, the tools, the paints, everything. I just added some batteries to the wire cutter and I cut up the sandpaper in some tinier pieces. So let's get started working on this project. The big pieces will be cut down to 15 by 9. I'll do the layout in 1-inch tiles. I will just cut up the surface with a knife and then I will highlight it with a pencil. I needed 3 mega tiles for the project, so I broke out 1 extra from the supplemented pack. One of the tiles I wanted an acid lake, and I made a mistake when I was highlighting with the pencil. As you can see, there's a big scratch down the tiles. So I will just cut that piece out. And here I'm adding my third tool. It's a piece of curled up tin foil to make some texture on all the surfaces of the tiles. I want to add some height to this terrain, so I'll build a couple of tiny hills and make a natural bridge across the acid lake. And for the cutouts I will use the hot wire knife. I'm using the provided glue to glue up all the pieces, and then I already had my first accident. A damn cap fell off. And this would not be the last time this happened. It will happen again. But I didn't want to waste all my glue that was spilled, and luckily I spilled it on the tiles. So I could actually grab a piece of paper that I already planned to put in the bottom of this plate so I could paint up the lake. I'm using the hot wire knife to make some more rocky textures and big stones and cliffs. And then the last piece for the natural bridge. Some tinfoil texture. More stones, more cliffs, and more cutting. On the second big tile, I'll build a ruin, and I want it to be a bit elevated from the rest of the tile. I will put a grid on top of that tile. Now I'll build some walls for the ruin, and they will be 2 inches tall. I'll do some cutouts for a couple of doors, and I used one of the bottles from the set as a template for the arch. I cut out the openings with the hot knife. I used a pencil to draw the stones on the wall, and that's a simple way to make some very good details. And a couple of walls with doorways are done. I glued them in and started to build some more cliff walls around it, so it would look like the structure were more integrated in the cave environment. I used the hot wire to cut out some more details in the building. Adding some more details. On the third mega tile, I'll make some more random terrain with some archers and more elevation. And the glue cap just fell right off into my hand. 15 minutes later, it just happened again, and the glue cap fell off, and I was just getting so sick of it. I thought I'll just leave it be and put on some sand, and maybe we can save it that way. That glue cap just started to annoy me, so I decided to bring out my almost empty Army Painter basing glue bottle and just pour over the leftovers from the new bottle into it. It seems like it's the same glue, so I guess it doesn't matter if I just pour it over. This works. That glue cap was just too annoying. Now we can finish the last tile and start to put on some sand. I wanted to have some less entrances on the big mega tile with the bridge, so I decided to carve out some deep holes so it will give the illusion of, ooh, there's a big hole here. I had 3 of the small tiles left, and I thought maybe we should make some dungeon tiles. So I can connect the 3 big mega tiles with each other in a random way and make it different each time we play. So first I had to lay out a grid, put on some texture, cutting up the tiles in different shapes so we can make some different kind of hallways and minor caves and put in some treasures and monsters and have a ton of fun. For the acid lake, I will put in some glue to give it some texture so it can look like water. Under normal circumstances, I would use some epoxy resin and make a water-like effect, but we don't have that option here, so this must be good enough. I've put on some sand on the tiles and all the mega tiles, and now it's time to give it some paint. Under normal circumstances, I would have painted it over with Mod Podge mixed with black paint, just to tighten everything together and give it a hard surface, but I hope this primer will be good enough. It looks good and I love the color. I will use the Cavern base and just hard dry brush it on. And for the ruined building, I will use the dungeon base. Everything has a base coat, and now it's time for the acid lake. For this I will use the grotto slime, but I will just test out if it's the same as the disgusting slime. Yep, that's exactly the same color. I started to brush it on, but I thought, okay, we need a good coverage, so I just poured a bit of it in. And then I'm going to use the wash. I found out that it had a green tone to it, and it was actually perfect, but I just needed something more black. So I used the green tone wash, but I later made up my own wash with the black paint that came with the set, and I just added some water to thin it down. The wash is now dry, and it's time to one of my favorite paint things. I love highlighting and dry brushing. It just makes everything come to life. So I used the Cavern highlight, and later on I used the Cavern effects. For the ruined building, I used the dungeon highlights. And now for the tufts, the final touch of this build. I'll try to place them in spots where players won't put their characters in. And we are done. This is the fastest project I've ever built. I only spent 2 whole days and a couple of hours in the evenings over the last 5 days. And I must say, this is amazing how fast it was to build this. Maybe it's because my experience has gone up building these things. This is just amazing how so little material and different kinds of paints that were in this box can make stuff like this. This is not the last time I'm getting one of these boxes. I've seen they have some other expansions. I might add some of my own stuff to it, because one of the most annoying thing was that glue bottle. 3 times the cap popped off, and that's one thing they gotta do better. Otherwise, all the other stuff was okay. The hot wire tool, I had to modify it because something melted up here, so I had to wire these things in and change it to a bit more powerful battery. Everything worked as it should. These are just the 2 things, the glue and the hot wire cutter I experienced was a problem. And I would have loved to seen maybe an extra blade for the knife. That's just how it is. Let's have a look of all the things I built set up in an environment that could be a game. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.